What is this garbage you're watching? I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Gang Stalking Show. My name is Doug. I'm a targeted individual. I've been one since 2004, and I live in the gang stalking capital of the United States, Tyler, Texas. Gang stalking specialists live in this town. Before I get into the subject matter of the show, I just got a little deal down here, somewhere down there. PayPal, if you can donate, great. If you can't, I'm in a pinch again, and I'm probably going to be in a pinch for a while. If you can donate, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. But prayers are always welcome. I'm having a hard time right now earning a living, but you people know about that, and I'll get into that and expound upon it here in just a minute. I'm going to tell you why you're a targeted individual. Now, there are many reasons why you are a targeted individual. It could be your political affiliations. It could be you're a whistleblower. It could be you snitched. Could be you snitched on law enforcement, or snitched on somebody that's got power, money, influence, revenge. I can't tell you which one of those things it is. It could be a dissident. I don't know that, and many of you don't know why you're in the program. But I can tell you why you are in the program and why all of us are in the program. I can tell you this with absolutely 100% certainty. It's because we all share the same unique characteristics. And I'll explain this. They don't go after targeted individuals who are well connected. By that, I mean, let's say they decided to come after me, and after they did a little profile on me, before they even targeted me, they profiled me. And they profiled you too. They had my phone hacked, they had my TV hacked, they had everything hacked, and for months and months and months they were collecting data. What does he look at? Where does he go? What does he do? They follow you. And they're not gang stalking you at that point. They're just doing surveillance on you. So, while they're doing this, they're also trying to find out how much family does he have? Or does she have? Or is it a well-connected family? Is there a lot of family members? Do they have each other's backs? Or are they just divided? What's going on with the family? So they look at that. Then they look at your social network. How many friends do you have? And how connected are them? Are they? Are your friends, or are they just guys and gals that just like you work at a Burger King or a Pizza Hut? Or maybe you work at a theater, or you're a valet or something like that. You're just a regular person with a regular job. Or do you have a lot of ties with people who work in law enforcement, people who may be in the FBI, people who may be in various aspects of local, city, and state government, federal government? Do you have a well-connected aunt or uncle that's got money, power, works somewhere, got prestige? What about your financial resources? Do you have a good income? Are you padded up? Do you got plenty of money? They look at all of these things, and the way they find these things out is you're selected as a potential target, and that's what happens. They do target selection. For whatever reason, maybe you pissed somebody off, maybe you're a whistleblower, maybe you snitched on the wrong person. There's a lot of people out there with thin skin and a lot of connections that can put you in this program. They just pick up the phone. I want them in the program. And they'll go, we'll get back with you. We'll get back with you. What do you mean you get back with me? We'll get back with you. Click. And then they spend a lot of money, a lot of time, and resources digging up your personal history, your credit history. They do a background check on you. They try to find out as much as they possibly can about your medical history, what medicines you're on. They'll dig through your trash, You may have seen somebody go out to your trash before and take your trash bags out of the trash bin, throw them in the back of their car, and then drive off. You know, you may not think that there's much in this trash can other than spit and a couple of notes, but I'll tell you what, it's enough to profile someone, and that may not be much for today, but when you're profiling somebody over a period of weeks and months, you start getting all these little notes, these cards, these letters, these bills, these receipts, what movie they went to see, all of this. And you can piece together and kind of, like a jigsaw puzzle, kind of put the pieces together and kind of figure this person out just on that information alone. But they're going to go ahead and run a criminal history. They're going to run a background check. They're going to dig into your medical records. They're going to go as far as they can with everything. They're going to look at your social network. Do you got a lot of friends? And if you do have a lot of friends, are they really good friends, or are they just fair weather friends? Are they going to have your back? And not only have your back, but are they connected in some way? Are they in law school? Have they graduated? Are they now practicing law? What kind of law? Are they just some bum ambulance chasing attorney who's chasing around ambulances trying to crack a deal here and there? There's a lot of people that are attorneys that just don't make any money because they're like the Joe Bidens that graduated the lowest part of their class. He graduated 75 out of 86. And typically people who graduate that low in their class, they end up practicing divorce law, or they chase ambulances around because they just don't have the wit and the logic to go in there and to woo a crowd, in front of a jury. And that's what Joe Biden would have ended up doing had he not gotten into politics. He'd be chasing ambulances around right now. Hey, buddy, I see you got a broken leg and a car ran over you. You want me to help you get that? I can help you get some money. Those are low-balling attorneys that can't do anything other than that. So they look at your social ties, your family ties, your money, your resources, and while they're doing all this, they're hacking your phone. They're not hacking it to interfere. They're just hacking it to peer into your life. They're hacking into your computer to see what you do, where you go online. And they're following you around incognito, most of the time incognito. They're not overtly harassing you, and they're not even harassing you. They're just following you around to find out who you are. So if you come back and the person says, well, I asked you to put him in this program 3 months ago. Is he in the program yet? Well, I tell you what, we put all the pieces together, and sorry, we can't put him in the program. What the hell you mean you can't put him in the program? I want this bastard destroyed. Well, you don't understand. This guy's he's got a solid foundation. He's got plenty of money. He's got plenty of resources. He's connected. He knows people in city government, or maybe federal government, or in state government. He's got a couple of aunts and uncles that are attorneys, high level attorneys. He's got an uncle that's a doctor, that's well-respected heart surgeon. He's got cousins that are going to law school, and one's going to medical school. He's got a lot of connections. You can't put him in because of that. Well, it's just not that. He's got money. Though it's not all his money, it's family money. But you don't understand, if we put him in this program, he's going to be able to find us out. What do you mean find us out? Evidently, you don't understand how the program works. And this is how it works, cowboy. This is how it works. We just can't put anybody in the program. Why not? Because if we put anybody in the program that is well connected, like let's say we want to do Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's a piece of crap. Yeah, everybody knows that. Everybody knows dirt on him, but it doesn't do any good. Well, why not? Because his dad's the president of the United States. He's connected. How do you think he's been able to be such a loser his entire life and nobody mess with him? It's because he's connected. He's got family. He's got money. He's got resources. We can't go after him. Well, what does money and resources got to do with it? What does social network got to do with it? Here's the deal, cowboy. If we go after him, we're going to go after people. He's going to get connected with people that are going to make connections, and they're going to have us counter-surveilled, and they'll find out who we are. And we can't have that happen because this program has got to be on the DL, the down low. It's got to be hush-hush. And it's never going to be hush-hush if we pick the wrong targets. Everybody in the program wants Hunter Biden. They want him to be a target. But we can't target him because he's too well connected. So you mean if you target him, he can find out who you are? Exactly. That's the way it works. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how this program works. I've never heard of a targeted individual on a Facebook post, a YouTube post, on any website ever complained that somebody keyed their Tesla, that someone let the air out of their Maserati, or somebody's jacking with their Porsche. I never heard of anybody breaking into a condo, high-rise condo, and taking apart the furniture and moving stuff around in the house. It just doesn't happen. I'm a member of like 50 or 60 Facebook groups on gang stalking, targeting, voice to skull, mind reading technology, everything you can think of, because I want to know what's going on with this program. Most of the time, 99% of the time, there's nothing but nonsense that appears in these posts. Oh, today they're making me hold my poop. Oh, today they're telling me that I'm a terrible person. Oh, today they're telling me not to watch. They're telling me watch the Andy Griffith Show. Most of the time it's stuff like that. When you do find out who these people are and you go check their profile, they're just like you and me. There are people that work at Pizza Hut, do a delivery driver's job, maybe deliver newspapers, but nobody's got a real good, decent job. And if they had one, it's long gone. Because they profile us for months on end to find out who we are, how well connected we are, what kind of resources, what kind of money we got, and how connected we are. And once they evaluate all that, and they dig through our trash, they'll come to a conclusion whether or not they should sift us or let us go. And you simply cannot target someone that is connected. Case in point, Dr. John Hall became a targeted individual. I have not heard Hall speak of targeting in a long time, except as an advocate because he knows what this program's about. He knows what the technology's about. But he was a targeted individual for a brief amount of time. If you don't know the story, he wrote the book Satellite Terrorism America. Get the book. You can get it on Amazon. And in the book, he talks about his ex-fiancée. She went under the name Mallory or something like that. And she was being raped, chemically raped. They were putting Rohypnol into her water, breaking into her apartment, drugging her, and then when she's out on the bed, they would just sexually assault her. So he intercedes and he gets involved, and while he's getting involved, he catches some of the V2K, and he also has the money because he's a doctor. He'd been a doctor for several years by then. Had money, he had connections, and he hears the V2K, and what does he do? Well, this sounds crazy. I got a friend when we was going to college, he was talking about going to the FBI. Somebody even called. So he picks up the phone, he calls his friend, and goes, hey man, I'm in a really weird situation, and I'm hearing some auditory stuff that is really crazy. Do we have technology? He goes, yeah, that's the voice of God weapon. That's microwave technology. Do we really have that? Yes, we do have it. Can anybody get access to it? And he goes, well, not supposed to, but plenty of people do access this technology for their own personal gain. And he's like, well, how so? And this is one of the stories that's in the book. He's like, well, there's a lot of guys that are in the FBI. They fool around their wives, and maybe they get tired of their wives, and they want a divorce, and they want to go to a hotter, younger model and get rid of this older model over here. And so one of the things they do is they break out the voice of God weapon and have an operator talk to them and say some crazy stuff, and then I'll get off work or the guy will get off work and he'll go home. Oh, honey, you'll never guess what happened to me. I'm hearing all these crazy voices telling me all these crazy things. And the husband's in on it. He's like, well, I think you need to go see a psychiatrist. Maybe this is something medicine can take care of. So she goes down. She goes see a psychiatrist. My screen went blank. Hold on. So she goes and sees a psychiatrist. He puts her on some medicine, says you've got psychosis, you have schizophrenia, and she has neither above. She's been impacted by microwave technology, and it was obtained through the FBI, and they're not supposed to be able to use this technology for that. But it's like anything in this world, anything that people are not supposed to do, they're going to do. And if you got a criminal bone in your body, you're going to find every method you can to do whatever criminal activity you want to do. And so these guys are like, this is really a great way to get out of your relationship. Just run this on your wife. It may take a few months. Make her crazy. Get her to see a shrink. And then after you had enough of it, tell her you want a divorce. And she's going to go, oh, I'm going to take you for everything. And you just keep your mouth shut. Take her to court. Have her go before a judge. And the judge will say, you get the kids. You get the house. And she gets the boot in the tail. Why? Because she's been labeled schizophrenic and psychotic. And she's not deemed fit to be a mother to her children. She can have weekend supervisions every once in a while, but you're going to get to have everything because you use this technology. So Dr. Hall finds that out by talking to this guy that's now in the FBI he went to college with. And Hall is doing some counter surveillance of his own because he's got money. He's got resources, and he's got a network of friends that are in places like other doctors, people that are in federal government positions like FBI and whatnot. And so he does counter surveillance, and he finds out that this private firm, investigative firm in San Antonio, Texas, is the people that is raping his girlfriend. He hires another PI firm that counter surveils them, and they get profiles on everybody, and one of the profiles comes back as an ex-FBI guy, and that's the guy that had access to the voice-to-skull technology. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, that you and I are selected, because we don't have money, we don't have resources. They do an in-depth profile, background history, criminal, financial history, and medical history on us. If you live in a small town, they will go into your small town and they will send people out to just chit-chat with people that know you. And you don't have to really dig too deep to find out how well people are going to speak of you. There's some people in the community, you go, hey, do you know so-and-so? Oh, so-and-so is just a great person, yada, yada, yada. And you'll try to get them to say something bad, but nobody's got anything to say bad. But if you're in a small town and you grew up wild and crazy and stuff, oh yeah, that guy's crazy, or yeah, she used to be on meth, she used to be a crack whore, but now she's doing good. But man, everybody in a small town, we all go through crazy stuff. So you see how it goes. But what about Hunter Biden? He's a perfect candidate. Yeah, he is. You don't know how many people that would like to make him a targeted individual, but because he's got family ties, he's got money, and he's got resources, there's nothing that anybody can do to target him. He's had a laptop full of pornography, laptop of probably sleeping with underage women, laptop of doing all kinds of illicit drugs while bumping uglies and doing the horizontal bop. Just one criminal activity after another. Tosses a gun, a loaded gun away, close to a school. That's a felony. He lies on a federal application for a permit to buy a gun. Have you ever used drugs before? That's a 10-year felony. No, I haven't. Checks yes, no. He checks no. Turns in an application, he gets to buy a firearm. That would happen to you or me, we would be in federal penitentiary right now. So why is he not? Because he's connected. He's connected. There's nothing we can do. But for people that are not connected, they profile us. They put a phone call in, go, I want them in the program. They go, well, let's see what we can do. And if the phone call comes back, you want the boy in the program? I want him in the program. Your boy's got a green light. We're going to go. But if he comes back, your boy, sorry, we can't touch him. Why not? He's well connected, man. He's connected. There's nothing we can do. What do you mean? Can't you drive him crazy? Yeah, we could, but we'll get found out. You'll get found out. Everybody will get found out. And for this program to work, nobody can be found out. Because there has to be that level of, and the magic words are, plausible deniability. And as long as someone can't counter-surveil, doesn't have the money for it, the resources, the time to invest into it, then you can do it. But if they do, and they are connected, they simply cannot become a targeted individual. Yeah, you can mess with them a little bit. I mean, in a sense, Donald Trump was a targeted individual, and he was probably targeted by the same people who target you and I, because this is a criminal government program. It's the same program that was connected to Joe Biden get elected. 81 million votes were not cast on his behalf. In the past 20 years, if there was anybody that was going to get 81 million votes, it would have been Barack Obama, and he didn't get near that many. So what they did was the same technology that is used to hack you and me, which is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Until you take that Wi-Fi card out of your computer, until you take that Bluetooth out, anybody can hack you from blocks away, even upwards of 8 miles away. They can do that. And they're not going to be kitty hackers that are learning scripts on YouTube. Oh, all you got to do to hack is just install Kali Linux and then watch this video. In 15 minutes, you can hack anybody's Wi-Fi. Yeah, you can. But these people don't have kitty hacker skills. They got mad hacking skills, and they have access to sophisticated equipment, government equipment. So, yeah, they can mess with you, but they can only do it to a certain extent. And like with Donald Trump, they couldn't make him a targeted individual and break him like they break us, because he would have always had plenty of money, plenty of resources to fight this until his last breath. And it would have turned out, through him hiring people, they would have found out who did it. But now that the Mueller probe has come to an end, we find out that Donald Trump didn't have any criminal ties to Russia. And now that we get to the end of this assorted affair, we found out that Hillary Clinton paid to have Donald Trump put into this program for a smear campaign. And the program worked well for 2 years, because every night on CNN and MSNBC, Donald Trump, Russia, 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 Russia. And they smeared his name so much and threw mud on the wall and smeared it around enough to, while Trump was trying to get reelected, he couldn't get reelected because all that bad press is out there. It's kind of like you and me. We go put our job application in somewhere, but they keep smearing our name. We'll get a job, and then a couple of weeks later, our hours get cut back. Then a couple of weeks later, we'll go to work, and then we got fired for no reason. Why? Because we don't have the money to fight back. Though Trump was getting smeared, he had money to fight back. Now that they got to the end of it, we find out that Donald Trump didn't do anything wrong. But why did they smear his name? Well, they being evil, which is this criminal empire. See, I found this out not too long ago. Everybody has a tendency to think that everybody has a tendency to think the same way that they do. And I'm one of those people. My whole entire life, I pretty much looked at everybody like everybody believes in God. Maybe not go to church, maybe not rely on him that much, but basically everybody's good and everybody believes in God. And the only people that don't are in prison or they're headed to prison. And basically all people are pretty much good. Yeah, there's a few bad apples here and there, but we're all pretty good. And I still pretty much think that way, but this program has clarified things that no, there are a lot of people that are actually wicked, wicked to the bone, evil. And that's the reality of it. And that destroys my worldview, because my worldview was basically everybody's good. Basically everybody believes in God except for a few occasional people. And then you got people who are just going through a bad patch of doing drugs or becoming an alcoholic or whatever. You see what I'm saying? And these criminal people in this criminal empire that put Trump into this program, if you would. Wouldn't call it the targeted individual program, but it's somehow connected with the program. And on the premise, they thought, this is the way they think, we're criminals, so Trump, since he's got money and he's way up on the food chain like we are, he must have got his money by being criminals like us, because that's how they became wealthy and at the top of the food chain. It's like Joe Biden. Joe Biden's never done an honest day of work in his life. He's spent his entire life lying and being a parasite on the American taxpayer. He's a criminal. Everybody knows he's a criminal. His son is a criminal. Everybody knows that. But who can prove it? Everybody can prove it. But what can we do about it? We can't do anything about it. Why? Because he's connected. But the reason they launched this investigation at Trump is their worldview is we're criminals, so he must be a criminal. And for 17 years, they've been looking at me with a fine-tooth comb thinking, he's a criminal, he's a criminal, we're gonna bust him. 17 years under the microscope. Let's pull out this little microscopic slide over here. Let's dip into this over here, and let's put that on the slide, and let's put a stain on it. Let's put a little cover slip. Now let's just put this under the microscope, and this is Doug Jones. We're going to find something on him. Let's get it down to 10,000 power. We don't see nothing there. Let's switch it over here to 20. We don't see anything there. Let's go to 50,000 power. Don't see nothing there. Let's go to 100,000 power. We don't see nothing. 17 years, don't see anything. But yet, I'm a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I don't do anything even remotely close to criminal like these people do. I mean, if you want to say looking at pornography as a crime, yeah, that's about as criminality as it got. And when it comes to that, I just want to end that on this, not to make myself look good or anything like that. I watch a lot of videos on Christianity, and I saw a video not too long ago, and it was about pornography and people who profess to be Christians. I don't remember who put the video out, but it was staggering that they asked people, church-going people, men and women above the age of 18, how often do they watch pornography? They found out that 50% of all pastors and professing Christian pastors have seen pornography in the past year. 83% of females above the age of 18 watched pornography in the past month. 76% of men 18 and older professing to be Christians that go to church every week have seen pornography in the last month. You know, the most mind-boggling thing, it's not the preacher, 50%. Maybe you got a preacher that looks at it, maybe you don't. The staggering thing was not that 76% of men above the age of 18 look at it. The thing that blew my mind was 83% of females that go to church admitted to looking at porn at least one time in the past month. So for these people to come at me and go, oh, you looked at pornography. Everybody looks at pornography. Practically everybody looks at pornography. And that's just a fact, Jack. I will say that I'm trying my best to get away from it. It's terrible. It's a horrible thing. But we live in a wicked, wicked world where there's pornography on my TV right now. All I got to do every Monday or Tuesday night, There comes a show on with two guys that are married, and I think they got kids. Then there's two broke girls. They're always talking about either masturbating or looking at porn movies, showing their breasts. I mean, our whole world is just sexed up. I know the conversation kind of just took a detour there, but I'm just telling you people this. You're a targeted individual because you have a limited amount of resources. You don't have a tight social network. You're not connected to anybody. You don't have deep family ties. And you're an easy target. Think about it like this. Ever watch a wildlife program where it's like a tiger or a cheetah or a lion or a polar bear or a grizzly bear? You ever watch those programs and watch them feed? What animals do they feed on? Do they ever go after the alpha male in the pack? No, sir. You think a lion is going to go after the alpha wildebeest and risk getting his eye gored out or his disemboweled or being flipped up in the air and break his neck when he lands down? No. So which one does he go for? He goes for the weak, the sick, the old, and the very young. They don't go after the alpha males, the alpha females. Lions don't do it. Polar bears don't do it. Grizzly bears don't do it. They all prey on easy targets. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, is the sad fact of the reality of the position we're in. We're perceived as weak, easy marks. They wouldn't come after us. They wouldn't dare come after us if we had money and we had good connections. It just simply would not happen because that would expose this program. And I know there's people out there that don't understand this program. More and more people are showing up on my channel and they're going, what is this targeted individual thing? Had I not become a targeted individual, I would be just as disbelief as anybody else. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that there are people who enjoy this purge-like mentality. And that brings up another topic. You ever see the movie The Purge? I watched the first one. I managed to sit all the way through it. And then after I watched it, I was pretty much disturbed. Because number one, you've got to be a disturbed reprobate to write a script to where humans for pleasure one night of the year hunt other human beings for sport, for bloodlust. That's what this program is. This program is the purge, except they're not armed with AK-47s. They're not armed with guns and knives. They're armed with technology, and they're armed with psychology. And that's how this program is done. This program is nothing new. This program came about in 1950 by the East Secret German Stasi police, and it didn't end until 1990. And if you're like, what's the East Secret German Stasi police? They're the ones who came up with the targeted individual program. This is where gang stalking originated from. These people would take your mail, because you live in a communist country. They would take your envelope, which is sealed. This one's open. Let's say this is sealed. And I've seen this in a movie about gang stalking. It's called The Lives of Others. So the mail would go through the mail room, and what they would do is they'd gather up the mail from the postal centers in East Germany, and the people that were targeted, they would take the mail back to the Stasi headquarters. Let's say this envelope is tightly sealed. This one's not. They would put it on a little press, and they'd bring down something that looked like an iron, and they'd press a button, and it would put steam. And what the steam would do is break the glue seal. Then they would pull out white gloves. And this is, the equivalent of reading texts and emails and reading people's letters nowadays. And people don't get much correspondence through regular mail anymore. So what they would do is they go through each letter, each page. They'd be wearing white gloves or vinyl gloves. And they would look through everything. And if there was anything suspicious, anything suspicious, they would photocopy it. Carefully put it back in the envelope. place it back in the envelope, and then they would put it on another machine. This one didn't steam it. This one would reseal it. And the person would get their mail maybe a day or two later, and they would be none the wiser, not knowing that someone had already went through their mail and read it. That's what happens in this program. And it happens on a grand scale. A grand scale. I'm going to be doing a video here probably in a couple of days or a week, and it's going to go back to an email that I found. I just recently got access to an email account that I had back in 2006 and 2007, and it's going to be about a subject that I've talked about before. And I'm going to show you some of the cryptid, disturbing spam that I was getting. And the only thing I can describe it at, it's like I've watched shows on people being in prison, and what they do when they write, a letter to somebody in the outside world, it's coded, it's encrypted. Like this one word will mean one thing, this one word will mean something else, and you read it and it kind of reads kind of normal, but it's kind of off. And there's people that are code breakers in prison that read these letters, and these letters may say, yeah, baby, say this, that, or the other to his girlfriend, and actually what he's not even talking to his girlfriend. Girlfriend's going to get the letter, and she's going to hand it off to one of his homeboys, and it's basically going to say something about, yeah, you need to go get a haircut or something like that, and that's just a code word for go out and whack somebody. This program is devious. It's very, very devious. With that said, that's going to do it for this program. If you got any money to donate, great. If you don't, if you're a praying man or woman, please pray for this channel. Please pray for me. I may get evicted tomorrow. I just don't know. I'm about to go out and go look for some work, and we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, keep your fingers crossed. Have a good day.